My success journey seems to be unfolding in seemingly the most perfect way that I didn't take the time to see or understand. And see, all of that comes from being guided by your spiritual source. He's got you. And it all comes through when you least expect, but if you're obedient to the listening of the call within.
You are here. Welcome to the Purpose Finder podcast. This is the show where we uncover why you are truly here and, more importantly, how to make it your reality. My father, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, said the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without purpose. And research further shows that people with a strong sense of purpose are 2.4 times more likely to feel fulfilled. Each week, I sit down with extraordinary guests, entrepreneurs, artists, thought leaders who are boldly living their why. We dive deep into their journeys, the struggles they have overcome, their breakthroughs, and the lessons that can help you do the same. I am your beautiful host, Charissa Monroe-Wilborn, and we're about to explore the mindsets, tools, and strategies to help you live a life with purpose, passion, and legacy. Are you ready? Let's go and dive into the episode. Welcome back to another great episode of the Purpose Finder podcast, where our mission, as you know, is simple: to inspire you to find and uncover your life's purpose and to live a life overflowing with three things: meaning, fulfillment, and significance. Why is that important? Because deep down, we all crave belonging. No one wants to feel unfulfilled, and we are all asking the one big question: why in the world am I here? But my hope is that you will find your answer right here on this podcast. I am your host, Charissa Monroe-Wilborn, and today I sit down with a beautiful friend of mine. We have been on the same campus of a coach that we share, and you're going to hear her story, you're going to hear her journey, you're going to hear her lessons, and she's one of my seasoned guess, but she is still doing amazing things in the world. So I want to talk about how in my fourth quarter can I still be pushing towards my purpose. Sandi Lynn, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is so amazing, so great, such an honor to have you grace the podcast with your presence.
Good morning, Charissa.
How are you? How have you
Doing
been?
excellent. I'm doing excellent.
You
I
look
love every
excellent.
time I get to connect with people like you. You know, like-minded folks are my mission, and you are one of them.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. For those who are watching, you will see Sandi. You'll be able to see her face and just see her glow. For those that are listening, you're only going to hear her voice, but you're looking at someone, and I can't stop saying this because Sandi is doing great things. Like you're going to hear her talk about what it is she has accomplished. I do want you to tell us some things you have accomplished and what you're doing, but she is still going. And I'm not going to be the one to say your age, Sandi. I'm going to let you do that. But it is imperative that we put your age out there because I want people to understand that when I say over and over again, purpose has so many different levels. It also comes in so many different shapes and sizes and colors and textures. It doesn't have to look the same. It doesn't have to start the same. It doesn't have to be and feel the same for everyone. And so this is purpose at the age of whatever, and you are still going at it. So I'm not going to read your bio. They don't want to hear from me. Please tell us who you are, where you're from, and all the great things you're doing in the world.
So listen, right now I'm known as the age powerfully mentor. And so when I look ahead and look at right now, I can see that was my purpose and path even before I knew it was my purpose. And so my path has been one of social service, servant leader, all of my career in working in life. I started in the Department of Human Services for government, actually. But excitement and the passion of meeting the people and seeing them progress. One thing I found out right away is people aren't purposely on a situation where they need some human service help. They just are in a situation that needs to help them get through and onto their next path. And that was one of the most outstanding uncoveries I could make. I remember when my girlfriends, this is really, really way back in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Black Wall Street. We were bike riding. That's how young we were. We were girls bike riding, and her mother had her car parked in the garage on certain days. And she said, "Oh, don't let the door up." And we said, "Why?" Because we wanted to go in the back door and get some water. And Tulsa, Oklahoma is hot in the summertime. She says, "Because my mother might they might survey and see that my mother is done with her work." And her mother was a social worker who had been out visiting houses, but you had to stay out all day no matter whether your work is full or not. And that puzzled me, and I could not understand it. But when I went to college and became and majored in sociology and came back to Chicago and started doing the social work, going into Robert Taylor Homes housings, 16 floors of people, visiting mothers with children, visiting dads who couldn't even be counted on the rolls or they would be canceled in their money and their medical. When I got through interviewing and being with people like that, I found out her mother had to hide her car because it doesn't take all day and evening to find out what a person needs, what their level of support can help them with, how they can better do things and move and find jobs and get daycare and get food stamps. So I fully understand because that puzzled me for a very long time as to why she had to hide her car. But that's just the bureaucracy in action, not understanding how to fully support and be with people who just need a helping hand at the time. So my life has really been a servant leader and I did that job for a number
Mm-hmm.
of years. I got in a lot of trouble because I wasn't the one who was going to be sitting there trying to find out who was at the house and what they didn't do. I was the one who made the arrangements for the movers. We had actual movers in our community in Chicago who would help people with their clothes, their bedding, and their furniture, and their kitchen cabinets, and their refrigerators, and all of the things they needed just to live every day. And so it's always been a part of my life. And it's just grown me into knowing that people are best helped by understanding their situation isn't permanent, by best knowing how to support them, by being the person that just wants to lend a helping hand. In my minister's office, there's a picture, and you've probably seen it before. And there's a guy reaching over, and there's a guy reaching up, and he's just reaching down to give him a helping hand up. And so that those kinds of movements last in my mind because it helps me know that the world is just going to be all right when we decide how we decide to give up help to others. So that's been my lifelong career. I left my agency. I never use the word retire. I use the word rewire. So after, like, oh my God, I think 40 years I put into it, the agency, and all of a sudden they were giving out early retirements, and you only had to have a certain number of years. It didn't give me the income I wanted, but I wanted out. I wanted to come out here and do something else and do something different. And so being there, we used to hold conferences so people could see how they could do better and be better. And they'd not been to conferences before, so we got to plan them and we got to give them I remember one of the statements was, not just a check, a chance for a job with a future. And so we began to hold conferences like that. And I decided I wanted to do that permanent, every day, all day, rather than being in that 9 to 5. Left it. So that was my rewire. Did that for about 20 years, 25 years. And I'm on my third step now. When you hear that I'm in my fourth quarter, I'm in that fourth quarter because um, come July, I'm turning 79, and I figured that I got to get ready. I'm beginning to plan now because my big 80 is going to be a powerful celebration. Listen,
Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Sandy is almost 80. She's almost 80, and she's being very modest right now. I'm listening to her story and listening to her tell us who she is and what she's doing. And she's not telling you exactly all of what she has accomplished, what she's working with now, the movement that she's making at the age of 80. Like, literally, as you hear Sandy's story and journey to those who are, especially in their third, fourth, and fifth quarter, and you want to say, I'm too old, or he can never use me, meaning God can never use me, or I'm ready to retire. And when I retire, what am I going to do? And here it is, Sandy, you're 79, about to be 79, soon to be the big 80, and you're still, there's so much more that you want to do. There's so much more that you're doing. And you're talking about, I didn't retire, I rewired. Like, I love that retire was not your word, but the rewiring.
Yeah.
Perspective is everything. Perspective is everything. So I'm sorry, I had to stop you there because I was waiting for you to get to the age part so that I can say it. Because I just think that that is so cool. Like, on one end, you're 80 and you're still going at it, and then on the other end, there's the 13-year-old who is saying, I'm too young. There's the 7-year-old who is being told you are too young. Like, when it comes to truly living out our calling and starting to walk into the why we were created, there is no limit. There is no boundary. There is no restriction on any side, whether you're 7 or whether you're 80 or and anywhere in between. So you're helping those persons cancel out the excuse that they've been using all along to either continue or to start. So
Absolutely.
go ahead. You are about to turn 79. Uh-huh.
Which brings up Grow Power. Grow Power is a mentor program I started about 20 years ago, and it's for teen girls ages 8 to 18. And their beginning is just be who you are and just learn to grow into who you want to become. And that's how we started it, on that very premise. And on tomorrow, every second Saturday, we'll be meeting up at 10 a.m. in the morning, and they come out. Even though it's their Saturday and they could be home, they come out because we make it fun, we make it interesting, we make them feel involved and cared about. And so we've been doing that. Just recently, we developed a mantra for the girls, because the name of the program is Grow Power. We want them to grow powerfully into who they're trying to living to become. And so when they step into the room, they say, "When I look in the mirror, what do I see? I see my superpowers staring back at me. You see, it's in my glow. My inner powers is how I grow. It's my strength. It's my wisdom. It's my love. And I was born like that. I was
Hello.
born like that. I was born like that." So when you get some young girls that step in and talk to you like that and take up space in the world, you know we've got something good going on. So that's one of my
That
favorite.
sounds so amazing. I like how you, and even as you mentioned for yourself, you aren't growing gracefully because there's this thing of, growing gracefully, and that's fine.
Yeah,
But you're like, no, or aging gracefully. You
yeah,
said, I'm aging powerfully.
yes,
I'm aging
yes.
powerfully. And I think it is so important that we truly do consider the words that
Hmm.
we use, the words that we identify ourselves with, the words that we take on to be a part of our identity. It is so important. Yes, gracefully, could mean something definitely positive. Absolutely. But now, when you now have someone who's like, no, but I'm actually also aging powerfully. Oh,
Yes.
you just changed the whole game.
Yeah.
Change the whole game. So tell us more. Like, I love that the girls, and it's so good to have someone who is at your stage in life now able to mentor
Yeah.
the younger generation.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
couldn't be a better person who is in their third, fourth, fifth quarter of life with so much wisdom, so much information, so much experience to be able to teach and train those that are coming up to do it better than you did, to do it quicker
Mm-hmm.
than you did,
Mm-hmm.
to do it with less pain, less strife.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think it's awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So continue
Yeah.
to tell us more about this aging powerfully in your calling.
What else? Let me say one more thing about that grow power. Now, since over 20 whatever it's years ago we started the program, some have come through and come back. And so now they're teaching. You will see some of the most powerful, and one of them is I got to mention her, Yatasha Womack. Yatasha Womack is an Afro tourist. Now she will show up with her black lipstick on and her um, beautiful afro
Afro.
hair, and people and the young girls relate to and love her. But what she has done is written and produced books in afro tourism, and she has begun and been accepted by the Museum of Science and Industry right here in Chicago. No other industry has accepted a play or talk about young people growing, and it's called Nyla and the Multiverse. She can take you into some futuristics like you wouldn't believe. And the scientists at the Museum of Science and Industry are applauding her. So this is what happens. This is what comes out when you let girls just be and grow and expand into all of their greatness. So that's some of the benefit and the substance and the growth of what this program has been. For me, after I did my work in my job and came out and became an entrepreneur, that was just fine. I had to put it on pause though. In life, as life will be happening, different things happen for us. And for me, the most amazing man I ever met in my whole life and lived with for almost 30 years. I could see something happening. He would follow with me and support me in all of my conference management and planning. But he's a master golfer, so he taught me golf on my off time, and I let him help me on my work time. But we were the perfect match for decades, and all of a sudden I could notice a change. It was different. And what was happening was he was forgetting some things and not understanding how he did it, but he knew something else was happening, and so did I. So we had to go through, and we've been through many a physician. We had some of the best neurologists, some of the best people who finally diagnosed that it was that dreaded Alzheimer's. And we lived through it. We lived through it for about 10 years. And it took its toll finally. And people asked me, "How are you doing?" Because it was just October a few months ago. And I have to honestly say that grief takes a different perspective depending on who you are. And I grieve.
Mm.
Sometimes I cry because you miss that goodness. But my best level of grieving is that he is okay because he did not like that body, I'm sure. Who as strong and as entrepreneurial and as golf playing as in business owning would want to be in a situation when you couldn't do for yourself, you couldn't remember how to do it, you couldn't the very uh, simple things in life. He was the chef in our house. We had we had the best meals because he loved to eat healthy. That's probably why I'm trying to still do it. He's been the rock in the house, and but I feel relieved that he's not in that suffering state anymore. And so I don't know that I'm through the process, and I'm not really not concerned about it because I really rely on my creator. He has
Mhm.
curated my life so beautifully that whatever I have to go through, there's something better on the other side. So the getting through is not my concern. I rely heavily on the creative presence and the curating presence of the God in me, and it has taken me through and gotten me to where I am now, and guides me even more so into my next steps. So that has been the process of how I get through things. I can remember being ask about, well, what about all of these awards and things that you have? None of they all pale in comparison to the experiences I've had in gaining and getting there. That's like for I did PR in the state agency because I started in casework, but they said she talks too much. Get her to the PR department, and so but we did things, and we won. The National Public Relations Society of America came calling on my government agency and said, "Listen, we want to give you an award, the highest honor in PR, because we like the way you guys have done things." And it was for one segment of it. It was child support. It's their birthright, and I was just sure that and the way we had to get it done was just um, unbelievably through some other people in government, in the Congress and the Senate and the House, who were not really paying their child support, so they didn't want to see me coming. But but the media got wind of me, and so we won. We won the Silver Anvil. Silver Anvil is one of the highest PR awards you can receive in period, in corporate, in nonprofit, anywhere. And so we were happy to do that. I even had them actually give me a copy. Listen, I know you guys want this to sit in the offices, but I want my own to sit at home here. And so it still does. But it's the little things that you do from the heart. That's why I wear this heart many times, because I'm on that 13-inch journey from the head to the heart. And I really had to dig deep, dig deep, dig deep on getting out of my head and staying in my heart, especially in that 10 years with my husband.
Oh, that's really good. I had to think, I don't know, I'm just slow today, but I had to think about what 13-year journey is she talking about?
13
And
inches.
then immediately immediately the 13 inches, you're talking about literally the space between the head and the heart.
Yeah.
And I love that you put it that way, the 13-inch journey, because it is truly a journey
Mhm.
many times. And you and I, Sandi, we have one of the greatest coaches. We have access to some of the best coaches.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
and one thing that they talk about a lot, especially Sean Smith, he
Yes.
talks about, sometimes we are in our head when we should be in our heart,
Yes.
or we should be in our heart when we should be in our head,
Yes.
or the fact that sometimes there's a disconnect between the two.
Right.
And one of the things him and his assistant Michelle talk about a lot is having to get out of your heart, out of your head, which is completely intellectual.
Hmm.
And sometimes you have to get back into your heart. Your head is all intellect, but your heart is emotion, feeling, experiential, and how that is so important. And so even to hear you bring that up, and then to put it like that 13-year journey, because getting from the head to the heart or vice versa isn't always easy.
Yeah.
And it isn't always quick.
Absolutely.
It isn't
Absolutely.
always quick. So I'm so glad you brought that to light. And speaking of head to heart, I want to go back to your grieving process and the
Hmm.
loss of your husband. You mentioned that, you had to slow down or you had to stop. Like there came a point where you had to,
Yeah.
things took a shift
Yeah.
because things shifted at home.
Yeah.
Did that caregiving period where you had to, 100%, or he was priority, if you will,
Oh, yes.
did you have to stop, did you have to slow down when it comes to the work that you love to do and are doing in the world? And if you did, what did it feel like? How or did you, or were you able to kind of balance the two? Tell us a little bit about that journey and what that looks like for you.
Actually, the universe is quite the flow, let me tell you. It happened at its worst, right around I could see it coming for years, but when I really had to stop was in 2020. The whole world shut
Yep.
down.
Mhm.
The whole world shut down, and I began to notice, really closely. And at that same time, Sean Smith, and Lisa Nichols began. a certified transformational trainer program, a 1 year program that was going to start 2021. I was the first, I'm sure, to enroll. It was probably my um, life lift. It was the reason I could carry on. It was the reason that I understood I was changing form. It was the reason how I understood how to be a better caregiver. And so, and it didn't bother me that I had to pause what I was doing. It didn't bother me there was not a conference being held in the whole world. That was God's blessing for me. You know, you get blessed so many ways. But it was my time to spend totally devoted to how I grew through the process. And it helped me a lot. It was virtual, I could do it at home. Um, was everything I needed in all of that year. And the graduation made me feel like I had not lost. I just grown another level.
I
And
remember it.
yes, yeah, yeah.
'Cause I took that very program
Okay,
after we were a part of class two.
okay,
Great program. So you know what we
yes,
do, what we do with that. And so even coming out of that program now, that program sets you up.
yes,
So it ain't
absolutely.
like you're gonna take that program and then you're gonna chill. No, you're gonna take that program and then you're gonna have things that you're gonna want to work on. By this time, the pandemic is coming to an end, if you will.
Yeah.
So what did you do at that point? So you took this program, it was your life lift. Now you're lifted. Were you able to now step forward, step back into the work that you were doing? Or did you still have to say, you know what, my priority at this time still is my husband?
Hey, purpose seekers. If today's conversation has you thinking about your purpose, what it is, how to find it, and how to truly live it, then I have something special just for you. Introducing the Purpose Finder Formula. And you have free access to this 20-minute training designed to help you uncover your purpose and start living it with confidence. No fluff, no guesswork. It's clear, practical, step-by-step guide to finding meaning and gaining clarity and direction. Your purpose is calling. Are you ready? Head over to www.charissamunro.com/purpose finder formula. Enter your info and I'll send it straight to your inbox. Imagine waking up every day knowing your life has meaning, impact, and joy. That's what awaits you. So don't wait. Grab your free training today. Let's get back to the episode.
My priority just kept getting deeper and deeper into being the caregiver. It was my 24/7. It was my sometimes so tough I had to find the strength to heavy lift. It was the time when caregiving services who were trying to help me didn't seem to be enough. It was the time I was calling on family support. It was the time when and so one of the things I did a TED talk. I said, I'm going to put this 13-inch journey from head to heart in words and put it out here so I can feel myself knowing I can get through it. And so I did. And it helped a lot. When people understand um, that they're not alone and they can get through things no matter how tough they are, somehow it's a powerful way to feel better about how you get through it. And so I did, and until all the way through 2024, the end of 2024. So it's now at that end, and I think now is my time to just really come back. I've
Very
been
blessed.
just sitting back. I never left my mentor program because those girls are that energy right there. Is something I have to hold on to. But it's 2025 is my year. This has to be my year. I've decided that the wow. I mean, they said you're always energized and excited. And I'm like, this is a wow. And then I said, well, I live in the world of women. And so, because all of the mentoring that I do is with women, and all of the things that I see growing best is through women. And so I've been around some powerful women. And so it's just like Lisa Nichols being that coach. It's just like my spiritual leader, Johnny Coleman, being that coach. She was my spiritual mother all the way through all of this. Sorry that she wasn't here to get me through the rest of but I'm sure I felt her. We're having a program on tomorrow for Grow Power, and it's Women's History Month. And um, I was looking through all of the things I get ready for programs every month, and what did I find? A big box of napkins with Johnny Coleman's name engraved in gold. I'm like, this is for the girls tomorrow. I mean, it's the little things when they can see the power women that are in their lives and have paved the way and created legacy. Now we get to step into it. And so that's happening for me now with the Grow Power Mentoring Program. But I see that also for women. I mean, this world of women, I have been asking myself if I am courageous enough, bold enough, um, assured in my delivery enough to share with women a very taboo topic. And it's the topic of the women's menstrual, the monthly menstrual cycle. 5 years
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, a guy, a very integrity based, authentic gentleman started this, and he found a sanitary napkin that had a strip in it, and it was relieving a lot of the cramps. Everybody in those cramps. Remember our days in cramps, and then it was relieving them. It was regulating the days, the cycle flow. It was cutting back on some of that cystic fibrosis. I'm like, what? All the suffering I went through, and there's something for girls and women now, but it's such a taboo topic. I'm looking for my courage, and so I started just this month. Um, Going to the spiritual practice that I needed to embolden me to step forward and be that person, and I've decided to do so. I even joined a woman, another of my coaches, Forbes Riley, to go to a pitch fest where I'm going and practice in those studios and put it in front of people before I put it on camera and on video on how I present it to people, because I think um, even though it's a taboo topic, it's a necessary topic. It's a necessary topic for aging powerfully. I mean, this starts and happens and goes through years, and I haven't seen a menstrual cycle since I was uh, decades ago. But what I have every day is a panty liner who has that same protection inserted into it, zero odor, no bacteria, all those things that are important to a woman's feminine hygiene. And so I say to my girls all the time, girls, we just gonna keep our feminine hygiene higher than our heels. But I'm just saying it to them, but I need to get it out here because we're all trying to get through things. And so that monthly cycle, that suffering during that cycle should not be one of the things we have to get through if there's a solution.
Absolutely.
And so,
And for as long as there's a problem, I love that you're talking about the fact that there's still this problem, it's still a problem,
yeah,
and many women face it, but it's a problem that you're like, I am still very much uh well able to
yes,
be a part of the solution, because you
yes,
you Sandy could very well say, I'm going to let this be somebody else's problem, if you will.
yeah,
I'm on my fourth quarter.
yeah.
And here you are saying, no, there's still problems. So there's still solutions to be had.
Hmm.
And, for as long as there are problems, there's purpose. For as long
Yes,
as there's breath, there's purpose. And
yes.
so I'm listening to you, and I'm like, and she is still looking for a problem to say, how can I solve? How can I be a part of the solution? Even if it's this taboo
Yeah,
uh, topic that no one wants to talk about. And
yeah,
I totally agree. Like, no one talks about it. Um, and it's also looked at as supposed to be a part of the woman's experience.
hmm,
But it shouldn't have to be. And so I'm
right.
all for it. I'm all for it if there is solutions out there for where women can still have their menstrual cycle, because we know the menstrual cycle is important to reproduction. But if we can do it without pain, why
Yes,
why not? Why not?
yes, yes.
Um, That's so interesting. And so as we talk about the grief and the loss of your husband, but you also mentioned to me about loss in another area. Um, there was a point in your life where you thought there was a contract that was
Oh,
your purpose driven contract.
listen,
And
remember,
then
I'm always rewiring. So I rewired out of my agency into my own business. Oh, I am the entrepreneur because I know conferences. I've been planning and structuring them from a boardroom of 20 to 10,000 people at one time. And so I thought I had the job that I would have. I fell in love with it. $1 million agent, $1 million events. And so we got to be known in the hospitality industry among the hotels and the airlines and the convention bureaus as the $1 million job, the $1 million event. And there's probably many of them, but I'd never hosted one before. And I was in love with doing that job. It was my air. It was my breath. It was what I loved doing every day. It was my reason to wake up in the morning and figure out how to get the challenges and how to get people from here to there and then get them informed and instructed and back home again. And then the day came. The
mm,
executive director of the program said to me, I think you better come in. I got something I need to share with you. And every so often, I think every 4 years, a new administration comes in. And the new administration said, we're bringing our own team. So that meant my time was short lived in the job that I thought I was going to have because it was a contractual thing. It wasn't even a job. It was a joy. It was a get paid to do what you love.
mhm.
And so there I was in my entrepreneurial venturing being smacked. I mean, I didn't know what to do with I didn't even know myself without that industry, without doing that job. And so it hit me hard, but
How did you deal with that loss?
I just sat down for a moment and see. I stay in touch with my chief spiritual officer. I stay every morning we have a meeting. And so every day I have to listen and then look. And I'm always advised to look for the things that you might not have noticed before but are coming to you, and you might be in too big of a distraught mode to even see them. And so I have to stop and check myself. And it's a daily process, and I'm just so pleased at how I can come back each time. So some tough times happen, but who was that said those tough times, they happen, but they never last, or
Mhm.
something to that effect.
Mhm.
So true.
And
So
so how was the coming out of that? So the coming out of that.
the coming out of that was that I still had other offers. I mean, there were still people who wanted to do business with me, still people who understood, still people who needed consulting, still people who wanted me to train their teams. And so that was even more fun because the responsibility of doing it yourself in a business, you've got to find subcontractors and everything, but to train it and know that they could be successful was even better.
And so I'm asking because I want people to hear that one door being
Yes.
closed doesn't mean that there aren't other doors that are already open. But
Yes, yes, yes.
sometimes we focus on this one door and this one window that's been open for however long. And as soon as it's shut, we feel that means all other doors are closed.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any other door that's going to be open. But here you are saying, the coming out of that loss and that heartbreak, if you will, is the fact that there was still other opportunities
Yes,
that were
absolutely.
there. There were still people that want to work with me. There were still other projects, and there were still other businesses that still wanted what I had. And
Yes.
had you focused on no, but this was the one that I thought was going to be my purpose work. Had you
I
focused
did
on
4 times.
well, exactly. And I think we're all that way. But I think we are, and that just means that we are attaching purpose to the wrong thing.
Yes. Yes.
There's that attachment to this job versus attachment to just the growth and the influence that we can leave in a particular place. That is fluid, so it
Yeah.
can move.
Yeah.
And so people get to hear, like my ladies and gentlemen who are listening, they get to hear that, okay, so I don't have to think that my world has come to an end
Right.
when this job I've been working in for the last 5, 10, 15 years, making millions of dollars, closes on me. Or whether I felt that, okay, I don't longer want to do a 9 to 5, I want to be an entrepreneur. And then that doesn't work out the way I want. And so it's like, oh my goodness, my entire world's coming to an end. No, there's so many other doors, so many other windows, so
Yes.
many other opportunities. I mean, endless possibilities that are waiting. So that's why I really wanted to pull that out, because I knew that that was going to be the kind of the end of the story, but I wanted you to say it. Because if I say it, they're like, yeah, Charissa will.
Yeah.
She's the host of this Purpose podcast, so everything purpose. But no, I want them to hear from other people like yourself, whose purpose looks very different from mine, whose life's journey looks different from theirs, but you've made decisions. You have chosen to not stay down. You've chosen to not stay in your head. You've chosen to take that, and I'm going to say this over and over again from now on. You've chosen to take that 13-inch journey from your head to your heart
Yes.
so that you can stay connected to, and I love that you keep going back to your spiritual creator,
Yeah.
who continues to be the foundation of what it is that you do. And I'm focusing on loss a lot, because the journey to purpose, Sandy, is not always easy. The journey to our calling is not always easy, and there are a lot of people who face losses. You lost a spouse, you lost a contract that you thought was going to be your life, all of your life. I
Mm.
lost my parents, same, both of them, same time, 10 years ago.
Mm.
But here we are,
Yes.
not allowing life to stay stuck, not allowing that to dictate what we do moving forward. And then one of the other things that you talk about is success not always looking a certain way or being a certain way that you sought after. And so I
Mm.
do want to talk about that as well. Can you can you share that part of
Well,
what your success journey looked like?
yeah, because my success journey seems to be unfolding in seemingly the most perfect way that I didn't take the time to see or understand. And see, all of that comes from being guided by your spiritual source. He's got you. And it all comes through when you least expect, but if you're obedient to the listening of the call within. There's a I live life talking to inside here. And so, and when I'm talking to my inside, to the God in me, all of these things that appear, and boy, are there some things appearing in the world right about now. We get guided around, we get guided through, we get patience with, we get understanding of, and all of that is just the process of life, living, obeying. And so that's where I stand with it. It relieves you. You know, you people talk about being stressed. You don't have to be. I mean, it gets tough, and you want to cry, and you do cry sometimes, but there's always a getting through.
Absolutely. And so I want us to spend the next time goes by so quickly when I'm having fun with my guests.
Okay.
But I want us to spend the next few minutes talking about this fourth quarter.
Okay.
Because you are in your fourth quarter. But Sandy, you're so vibrant. You're so sprightly. You're so happy. You're so joyful. Like there is this overflowing of joy and laughter and peace when you talk about what it is that you do. Just hearing you talk about your girls that you mentor and the mantra that you guys just created and you just repeating it. I mean, like I love it. And I'm not in my fourth quarter yet, but I'm on my way there. How
Yeah.
do I forget anybody else listening? I want to know for myself. They can get the crumbs. I want to know for myself. How do I stay motivated and charged the way you are motivated and charged at the age of 80, doing what you were born to do and doing what you would love to do? Like, talk to us about that for the next however long.
Well, listen, don't let me tell you that it's just a joy journey every day. It is not. It
Well,
is.
today you're selling it real well, let me tell you.
I have down times. I think you find first yourself. You gotta know how to go in there and love yourself and know that you're gonna be okay. But before even knowing yourself, you've got to have some thing bigger than you that you believe in, that you trust the process of, that you know will get you from one side to the other. And when you know that, see, it's a knowing first, and then it's a believing. Then you can make some plans, and if they don't fall through, you'll get back up again. The fall down is gonna happen. The contract I lost was inevitable in the plan and the overall scope of things. I didn't know it, but I had to be prepared for the get up and keep going. And so those things they only happen when you have a trust and belief in a power higher than yourself. That number one for me. And then to believe in myself, and then to be able to hold on to those beliefs, because they get shaky. They don't always look like they're coming through. They're gonna get a little distorted, if you will, because you get distracted like I do sometimes. Sometimes I have to really plan out and stick to my big through. I heard just the other day, and I don't remember who it was. I stay in touch with people who are inspiring and people who say motivational things. But a guy who had several big, large, Fortune 50 companies, and he said there was only three things that he chose on a daily basis. And I'm like, three? Now you're running the company. It's bringing in millions. You got legal. You got distribution. You got product. Three. He said, if you get your three that are important, then you do those, and everything else is gravy that you get done during the course of a day. So you have to learn to live your day on what's most important. And some things get left off, and it's okay if you got your big three. So I'm listening to him. This was just a few days ago I heard that, because I will go to bed at night with six things I'm going to wake up. I'll write them down. And I'm wake up, and I got that from Mary Kay. I used to drive a pink Cadillac. But if she had six things, she she had six things you wrote at night before you got up the next morning, so you would be on target on what your day was like. Well, I think at this fourth quarter, I'm going down to the big three.
Mhm. Now, did he share his big three?
Yeah, daily, he's a success. He's a success
Wow.
in everything he. Fortune 50 company still standing. So I'm learning to listen to success and what success looks like in a overall scope, and how I fit it into my daily life. Um,
So I want to recap because I want to make sure we have this. So you said in your fourth quarter, you keep motivated and charged by one, knowing yourself. And then you mentioned two.
and that's my reverse order. Number one is knowing whose I am, that I have a
Who's bigger than
power
you.
greater than myself. That's my number
Okay.
one,
Hmm.
and then myself.
Know yourself. And then believe
And
in
yes,
yourself. And then
yes,
hold on to your beliefs.
yes.
Do you ever find yourself saying on any given day, I'm too old for this?
uh I don't say I'm too old for it, because I feel too good. I feel too healthy. I feel too. I feel this charge of energy that I have, and so I don't say I'm too old. But what I say is, dang, when you just gonna sit down and cause a lot of my friends are booking their cruise and booking their next trip.
Uh-huh.
They ain't thinking about doing nothing else but having a good time. And so I don't my days aren't filled with good time every day. They're filled with purpose and passion and doing what I love. And so I ask myself, well, when you gonna get to that point? And then I answer myself and say, When you get ready. I'm just not ready to go there yet. And so when I get tired, I just go on a cruise with them. And when
Well,
I
I was going to say, I was about to say, do you think there is a space, an opportunity where purpose, passion, and fun, if you will, can live on the same street?
Oh, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. Come my my girlfriends have been planning, and they're going to the Hamptons again in August, and we already got the place, but I haven't been able to go for a few years now because I've been 24/7 caregiving.
With
So
your
I've
husband.
already marked
Mhm.
my August. Yep, I will be in the Hamptons with
You
my
go,
friends.
girl. Mhm. Hello. Ah. And then here you are just building the life that you want. And we're not saying that, your husband or your priority caregiving for him got in the way. But still, even after that, you're like, I'm still going to go full blown purpose, still going to go full blown passion. But I also get to have some fun while I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and, after a certain age, you hear people even saying, I don't, traveling is for the young people. I don't want to travel anymore. I don't want to go on a cruise anymore. But why not? Why not? Like, life is so beautiful. Life is what you
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
And purpose does not have to be boring. Passion does not
Right.
have to be boring. I'll give you a prime example. So I run a retreat for women every year now. And the first two were on land. They were both retreats. One was in Houston, the other retreat was in Mexico. And the third one would have been in Mexico as well. But I had the opportunity to consider having the retreat via cruise. And I said, huh. And and of course, the purpose. So, and it's interesting. The purpose of my cruise is called the Path of Purpose.
Okay.
And the purpose of my cruise is to help women to reconnect their head and their heart.
Okay.
Literally, that is
Okay.
my point.
Wow.
That is the purpose of the cruise. So I'm gonna somewhere in the write up, I'm gonna fit in there. We're gonna take that 13-inch journey
Journey.
from head to heart to reconnect it. And so it's still gonna be transformational, deep inner work. But imagine doing that while still enjoying a cruise for 6 days on the waters. And you're able to have transformation, you're able to have breakthrough during the day, but on another day or at night, you can still have fun and go swimming and eat whatever you want and enjoy your family if they came with you, all all together. And
Yes.
for me to be able to offer, so now here I am now, all excited, talking about what it is that we do. But this is what purpose looks like. Purpose should be beautiful. It should, like you say, there are some days when, hey, I'm not always happy.
Yeah.
I'm not always joyful.
Yeah.
However, most times it it can be really, really fun.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if it means that I get to usher some women into their breakthrough and we still do it on a cruise, heck, why not?
Absolutely.
Um, so I'm glad to hear you go into the Hamptons and you get to have some fun and then
Yeah.
come back to your women, come back to your
Yes.
girls and
Absolutely.
do that
Absolutely.
mantra and that superpower. And
And I really, my next step really is to become bold enough to speak up for women and their monthly cycles. I just think that's an overlooked part that I can come back and usher some women into, because we're doing powerful things out here in the world. We need not be some girls say they don't go to school on those days because well, wait a minute. Let's learn how to get past that. Let's learn how not to let that be an obstacle for us, because we got some stuff to do, and we are out here competing with some men who don't know that we got this kind of power. And so
so
that's my
tell us
next.
a little more about that. Tell the women who are listening how they can learn more about that, how they can get on board with this mission that you're on. This is the perfect time for you to share how we can connect with you.
Okay, good. My website is causeshematters.com, and it goes straight into the pads and the why and the what they're made of. And it's a $6 conversation, really, but it's a life changer for women who are going through certain things and have. I heard somebody say about their menopause. I'm like, wait, let me come over here and get some girls, but even before we get to menopause, because that's a whole nother age powerfully
Another ball game.
conversation.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
you and by this time you know both.
Yes, absolutely. But see, if I'd known ahead, like these girls I have the opportunity to talk with now to send their parents to causeshematters.com, they would have been in a better state every month. I mean, it shouldn't be something we're dreading. It should be just this is what happens because this is why all of these people are on the planet working powerfully because we produce them with that monthly menstrual cycle. But then there's a way to get through it so that we aren't living in that. We often say our menstrual cycle has finally met its match. And so I need to get that word out there on how that happens at causeshematters.com.
.com.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. causeshematters.com. If you're interested in getting more information, make sure you visit the website, stay connected with Sandi Lynn. Sandi, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Sandi Lynn on Facebook. You can find me at San Lynn on Instagram and LinkedIn. I think my LinkedIn is San Lynn. And I need to go put all them together so they all come up as San, but something was taken on this and something was taken on that.
Oh,
So
yes,
if you're looking for at San Lynn on LinkedIn, you'll find me there. You'll find me on Facebook under Sandi Lynn, Sandy with an I, and you'll find me at Instagram on San Lynn.
Sandi, we just love you. I
We
love sitting down, just listening to the stories of my seasoned, uh, beautiful loved ones because you guys you're amazing. Amazing. And again, we have been so grateful to have you here on the Purpose Finder podcast. Thank you so much for speaking to those who would have heard and received what you came to share with them and what they needed. So hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you may have heard, whatever inspiration you needed to pull from Sandi, I hope you got your dose of it today here on the podcast. Sandi, as we close, I love to end on one of my favorite notes, and that is food. Love
okay.
food. And I love that you mentioned that your husband was the cook. So we're gonna honor hubby at this in this episode, and I'm gonna ask you what was his favorite food and his favorite restaurant.
He got me on first date, invited me
Ooh.
to his house, and he had grilled a salmon, carrots in orange juice and something that made them so amazing, broccoli and a salad. I'm like, what? And it tastes like heaven. And I'm like, what? This is just what I need to keep my regimen up and energy going and my body healthy. And he's been like that ever since. And he's
And this was the first date.
first date.
Wow. So we're not even gonna talk about restaurants because obviously the restaurants was his home. So we're
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for that, for
Yes.
sharing. Again, our condolences during this time of loss, but we know that you are working with a great and powerful creator who is
Yes.
going to give you the peace and joy and comfort that you
Yes.
need going forward.
Yes.
So again, thank you very much to those who are listening. This was another great episode on the Purpose Finder podcast. Until next time, make sure you comment, share, and like. We will see you soon. Bye. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap on this episode of the Purpose Finder podcast. I hope today's conversation lit a fire within you because purpose isn't just something you chase. It is something you live every single day. If this episode resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more people on their journey to purpose. Let's continue the journey together. Join the Purpose Finder community on Facebook for exclusive insights, tools, and a tribe of purpose-driven people just like you. And remember, the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Your purpose isn't far off. It's already within you. It's time for you to uncover it and live it boldly. Until next time, stay inspired, stay intentional, and keep walking in your purpose.